Yeah, see?
Going live on Facebook. I think it is. It says live on Facebook. There's a Kev. Back to normal. Normal services can be renewed. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Facebook. Good morning, attendees. Good morning, wonderful panelists. Thank you all for coming. Why don't you, number 22, why don't you mind your business? So it sounds nice and accusatory. I do love the title of these. I do love it. But we're going to get some views about what the crew, the Why Don't You crew, think they're hoping for with this. And then I might say something, I might not. I might just let them do it because they're pretty good. Neil, first of all, can I come to you? What are you thinking about for today, please?
Yeah, so I'm just looking to see how other people run their businesses and what they think about and how they can make their businesses better by doing that as well.
Nice, thanks, Neil. Terry.
Morning, y'all. I am looking forward. Actually, I'm intrigued. Is probably a better word to find out how people perceive their own business and what they think their business is. That'll be interesting for me.
How they perceive their own business and what they think the business is. Interesting. Will you tell me more, or are you going to tell me more now?
No, I'm gonna wait and see what comes out, and if Di's not here to steal my thunder, so I'm going to say what I'm going to say, aren't I? So yeah, I'll leave it for a bit and wait.
Okay. Thanks, Terry. Sammy, what do you think?
Well, working on your business is different to working in your business, isn't it? So I'm thinking if you're working in your business, you're running around chasing your tail all the time and not really getting anywhere. So working on your business is being really more proactive and thinking about things that you might be good at and things that you're not good at. So I'm absolutely rubbish at accounts. So why would I try and do them? So if I give my books to somebody else to do, then they can be working on that while I'm working on the important stuff, the creativity side. So that to me is working on my business, and working on myself is working on my business.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. So very practical then, as yeah.
Oh yes.
Practical and about Nice. Thanks, Sammy. Kev.
What have I missed?
Now that you've turned up.
What's today on?
Mind your business.
I would be interested in people's thoughts on whether they believe they run a business or they're self-employed.
Nice.
Different. There you go. Different.
It is. It's a wonderfully different mindset, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah. Are you going to say more now or later?
I have a few views, but hopefully they get answered. If they don't, I'll bat in later.
Yeah. Well, there's a surprise. Brilliant. Thank you. Excellent. My thoughts are there's all about minding your business, but there's all about, for me, the bigger picture. So it's not the practicalities. It's, for me, it's the other things like minding your business, and the bigger picture of that would be how can you mind other people's businesses as well, because we all have that, and I see it a lot on Facebook where people are likely to be critical of other people's businesses and how they run theirs. And I think you can mind your own business by being supportive of other people as well. So minding the business, I think, for me, it's all about integrity, my own integrity, and what I don't do to other people's businesses. So to me, mind your business is all about personal integrity, yes, how I manage my business and how I consider myself to be, Kev, I've forgotten your two things. Anyway, it's all about the bigger picture as well. So it's not just the practicalities, it's about support and how I can use my business to benefit other people and vice versa as well. Excellent. Has anyone got any starter points then? Kev, you're good at a starter question. Sarah, I can't wait till you give us some input as well. I'm a massive fan of Sarah.
Do you want a question
Yeah,
to start then?
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Let's put me. How would you rate your business, and how would you rate your business, and what gives you that rating?
How would you rate your business? Yeah. Mine, I'll answer first. Mine is middle to just a 1 or 2 above. If it's out of 10, Kev, and 10 being,
I wasn't being coachy. I was just asking a question.
yeah. I'm on a cusp because my business is about to go, but then that's my excitement, and I'm raring to go with that. So that's my business. Anyone else? Linda?
Fair to middling.
Teresa, go for it. Tell us about yours.
I still feel I'm quite new to this. I've never run a business. I've always been employed. So for me, I'm probably 4-ish. I don't have a massive confidence in my time management and organisation, and I'm still working on that. So that once I can get sort of my head around time management and giving myself time to do the different things I need to do, I think things will start to fall into place a little bit more. But I'm looking for tips and help, and so I'm quietly sitting here. If I've got something to say, I'll say.
Fab. But this is the whole point, that nobody who comes on the panel has to be an expert in anything. Sometimes panelists are invited because they are expert, or because they've got something to offer. But other than that, you guys out there, invite yourselves. Some people are more chatty than others. Anyone else got thoughts on Kev's? Great question, Kev.
I've stumped them all. Oh, Terry has.
Go for
Fair
it, Terry.
to middling, I'd say. I describe my business.
How do you rate it fair to middling, Tel?
Tell me more, Kev.
I'll explain it a little bit. What made you make those conclusions fair to middling?
Well, I know there's a lot more I can do, but I know that what I do, I think Neil, wait your turn. Be patient, young lady. What I do, I think I do okay, but there's loads more I need to do and should do and have to do with it.
Excellent. So in the same way as Teresa then. Same thing. So it's funny, you can be in a business a long time or a little time and it's the same thing. Neil?
Yeah, I was going to say much the same as Terry there. My middling, it's got lots of opportunities and hopefully it's about to explode into bigger things as well. That's why it's always got room for improvement, shall we say.
Brilliant. Phil?
Yeah, I'm going to go along with Terry and Neil, really. I know there's things that I could do, and I know there's several things that I should do. So putting those two together, puts me in that sort of middle-ish area. I'm reasonably satisfied with what I'm doing, but I know, as I say, there's stuff I could be doing more, and I know there's a lot of stuff I should be doing, but don't always get around to.
I can hear other people thinking can be doing is a better word than should be doing. Can you do those things, Phil?
Yes. But I'm afraid should is up here.
Brilliant. Thanks, Terry. Thanks, Phil.
I think what Phil could be doing is parking his tractor a bit better. So it looks like it's reversed into a ditch. Just a suggestion, mate.
Coming up off the beach with a load of seaweed, Terry.
Well, yeah. Maybe eat less Japanese food, maybe. Let's collect so much. to say? An idea?
I've noticed, just one second, Sammy. I've noticed how we're all being really vague about what we can, and we had Lee ask a question, Lee with a GH at the end, about what we can be. She's sort of checking on what we can be doing. I'll come to you, Terry. We've got Sammy, and then Terry, and then Steve. Sammy?
Yeah, I've just been thinking about Kev's question because I like to think about things a little bit. And it's a very good question. Of course, you would expect nothing less from Kev. But what I was thinking of about my business, really, I wouldn't give my actual learner driver business that good a rating because I'm not focused on it. But if I looked at it and found out, well, what's missing then, I can set myself some goals. So really, the progress is in what goals you can set for yourself. That's what I was just going to add to that, what I thought of that.
Absolutely. Nice one. So it's you've got a focus, your focus is in other places at the moment. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I've got lots of fireworks all in a row, ready to light, and then they're going to go boom. That's me.
Yeah, absolutely. Nice one. Terry, and then Steve.
And I was just going to say Lee's question, what sort of stuff you should be and can be doing?
Yeah.
From Lee.
Yeah. So we'll do that in a minute because I think that was directed at Phil. So Steve, have your say, please.
Yeah, with Kev's question, I think a work in progress is probably a good answer for me. And I think in the grand scheme of things, especially at the moment, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think there's been a lot of state of flux everywhere, really, isn't there? And I think implementing things, changing things, I think don't be put off if, like me, you haven't got a clear definition of where your business is going at the moment.
Yeah, I just remembered there's a certain messenger message I haven't responded to yet. It's really good. I do like it. Can be doing, and I think that's the thing, isn't it? So Phil, name one thing you can start on.
Forward gear.
Can I start on? I don't know. I know there's people I need to communicate with. I can be doing that, but I tend to think I'll do that later and doesn't always get done. Sometimes it can be quite important stuff. Sometimes it's not so important. So it's very difficult. There's lots of things that I can be doing and probably will be doing in the very near future. Bit vague, I know, but
well, there's no problem with vague. I had something pop up on my screen, Phil, so there's no problem with vague. I'm being vague.
Yeah.
I like what you did, and I like what happened, because I think that was the first thing. When I asked you the question, your head was going all over the place because you're thinking about it. And that's even just the first thing, is actually think about it rather than just head in the sand. Oh, my business isn't doing what I want it to do.
Yeah.
So there's things I can be doing. But the first thing is then, I presume, is get your head stuck in and what is it? Where do I go? And having those conversations. So when will you be?
This afternoon I'll be starting, definitely.
Excellent. I'm hoping you don't have the same business advisor that I have, because otherwise she'll be too busy. She'll be too busy. Sarah, have you got any thoughts yet on where this is going? I saw you, Teresa.
I think one of the things that we forget to do with our own business is look at the things that we like about it, because we know that success grows from success. So when you are looking at your business as an overhaul, having a good proper overhaul look at your business, look at the things that you actually enjoy, that you are successful at, that are the assets to your business. before you start to look at the other things, because then when you're looking at those other things, you're looking at them more with a goal in mind, with more of a positive mindset, because you've already identified what you're really, really happy with. So it's building that happiness into the other aspects of your business.
Really good point. Really good point. Actually, that's an important one. I like that. I like that thought. Teresa, and then.
I think in answer to the should we, could we, can we sort of question, I always sort of stick things in boxes. So, for instance, my website, I built it within the first couple of weeks I had my business, but then I rarely go to it to adapt it, which obviously isn't particularly efficient. But then I'm thinking to myself, well, how many inquiries do I get because somebody's looked at my website? So it tends to sit on the back burner, and I don't go, probably because I'm not comfortable and more techie. I don't find it an easy thing to go in and edit it. So, you know, so something like that I should probably be doing, but I sort of tend to leave it alone. But the teaching, sort of the coaching side of things, of being with my learners, that's the thing I enjoy doing. And so if I'm still getting inquiries and my diary's still full, I find myself stagnating and basically getting in the car, doing my lessons, coming home, doing whatever needs to be done to organise a diary, and that's basically it. So the vision's not so much there. Does that make sense? Phil touched on procrastinating. I can do it later. The procrastinating monkey is very much on my shoulder all of the time. And if anybody's ever seen the TED talk on that, it's well worth looking at. My daughter brought it to me. It's amazing. The procrastinating monkey is massive.
Yeah, absolutely. Totally agree. If anyone knows where it is, stick a link in the thread on Facebook. It's absolute. It's a hoot. Absolute hoot. Ooh, yeah. I know what Terry's going to tell me about in a minute. Who was it? Who was it after? Oh, it was Terry. It was Terry next, I think.
You sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks.
Because I'm going to have a little rant, if that's okay.
I think so. Embraced.
Okay. We've got a question from Kelly, first of all. Do you guys have any advice for those of us that are within the first 6 months? And I think my little rant might go a little way into answering that, Kelly. We've got another question as well, but I'll get to it later. Right, my rant is this. Sorry. Man, who's calling me? Why didn't it say Natalie Portman? There.
It said Kelly. Hurry up, get on with it.
Sorry. My little rant is this. When we are trained as driving instructors, there is very, very little that I'm aware of training that involves running your business after. It's all about get past the part 2, get past the part 3, off you go. And this is why a lot of driving instructors leave the business in the first couple of years. They don't know how to run a business. And if there's one bit of advice, and I give this to all my PDIs, it's a question I ask my PDIs. I say to them, when you've qualified, what are you going to be? And they always say, driving instructor. And I say, no, you're not. And they sit there for a minute thinking about it. They can't come up with the answer. And I say to them, when you qualify, you are going to be a business person. What you do is going to be driving instruction, but you are a business person. And it's just that different way of looking at it, that you are a business person. You ask Richard Branson what does for a living, he's not going to say, I own a railway, I own a fleet of airplanes, I'm a businessman. If you ask Steve Jobs when he was alive, I'm a businessman. Anyone, you know, Alan Sugar, I'm a businessman. And it's having that mentality, I think, that separates the businesses that are running along, ticking over, and those that are really successful, if you're going to define success as that. So that mentality of I'm a business person, I'm an entrepreneur, I need to run my business and get away from I'm a driving instructor. And I think if every driving instructor in the country had that different opinion, different mindset, there'd be a lot less moaning on Facebook.
Totally agree.
It's just my rant, that's all. You know, we're
I
not
kinda
driving
like
instructors,
you.
we are business people.
Absolutely. Love it. Nice little rant, that one.
Sorry.
It's a good one. Really good. Thanks, Terry. Neil, and then Steve.
Yeah, I think it's about having the motivation to do the little bits that you want to just keep putting off, a bit like Sarah said. You know, not looking at the bits that, oh, that don't matter. It's having that motivation to do that and then move forward with what you want to do.
Yeah, definitely. Motivation, and sometimes, I mean, I'm hoping Sarah doesn't mind me saying this. Sometimes when I need that stop procrastinating, I mean, we've often shared jokey stuff about my skills at procrastinating. And Sarah's one of the people I ring up. Find a person that you ring up that gives you that little bit of stop faffing, get on with it. Sarah's mine, and you can't borrow her, buy her. She's mine. She's good at it. Find a person for you that's good at it. She doesn't let me mess about. She really doesn't let me mess about. Steve.
I'm just going to tack on to Terry's rant a little bit. I think something that's really been bugging me, especially over the last couple of weeks, is a lot of instructors feel that they work for the DVSA rather than alongside them. I think that mind shift makes a massive difference, because I think that leads, especially people that don't have a history of perhaps self-employment or business running, they come into being a driving instructor and they kind of still feel that they're working for somebody. That's been a bit of a bugbear of mine for the last couple of weeks, actually. So even more so, it seems to be increasing daily.
Yeah, you're right, Steve. I've noticed that. I agree. We don't work for. I think they have a title. Sarah will probably know it. They oversee us and check our standards. There's something about that going on, and I don't remember what it is. That's what we use Di for usually, but she's not here. She's the one who knows proper things. But it's we work for ourselves, and the DVSA are the ones that deliver driving tests. And Keith has got another book. Just slowly came up there. Just totally distracted me from my inane thing. But it is. We do need to think big. Do you know, Keith, if you knew what thinking big was, there's crazy stuff going on for some of us here. But I think you're right. Yeah, Sammy, I've got you in a second. But Steve, you're right. It's thinking big and doing what we don't work for the DVSA. Otherwise, they would pay us. Sammy.
Yeah. What Sarah said about enjoying your business and building happiness into your business, I just wanted to latch onto that a little bit, because like you said, the business, it's for us, it's not for the DVSA, it's for us. And if we want to love what we do and enjoy what we do, then everything needs to fall in line with our values, you know, our experiences, our skills and knowledge, our interests and our passions. And that inspires you to take that action, to want to grow and to want to work on your business because it is for you. Yeah, it's not for the DVSA. That's what I wanted to say.
Absolutely. I think you're right, but Steph's got it. Steph, thank you. DVSA regulate us. And that's what they do. They're regulators, they are not something. Nice, good point. Uncle Kev.
Basically, the DVSA just set the standards. That's literally it. That's what they do. And they assess you to those standards.
And that's what they're doing at the moment. The standard is, and the recommendations are, that we don't do certain things, and we only do certain things with certain type of clients. And that's an issue for a lot of people because they want more direction. But it's a problem. It's a problem. Uncle Phil.
Yeah, bit of a funny thing about the DVSA at the moment. Normally people moan like mad about the DVSA, saying they shouldn't be able to tell us to do that and we shouldn't have to have check tests checks. But now all of a sudden everybody's having a go at the DVSA. Why aren't they telling us what to do? So, you know, we don't work for the DVSA, we are our own people. And, you know, lots of the times the decisions have to be ours, but we just follow DVSA guidelines. They can't actually tell us what to do.
Yeah.
I don't think they will.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. I think it's a big issue. I'm just going to say my little bit. It's totally off track, but people have told me, or people have been encouraging me, especially over recent years, to deliver training to PDIs, and I've never really had that as a goal or a passion because it doesn't inspire me in the same way as other aspects of my career. And that's what Sarah was talking about. Look for the joy. Where is the joy? My joy is actually much more seated with current ADIs, and it came from when the standards check first came in, 2014. That's where my joy and where I found my niche was. And it was offering support to existing ADIs. I was meeting a lot of people who knew my skill set. They were contacting me saying, you do this client-centered nonsense stuff, Fiona, what is it? Now, the joy I got from suddenly delivering standards check training without even thinking about it, the joy of being supportive for someone to get them to develop their own business and their teaching strategies, etc. That was what gave me joy, but I didn't know I was doing it. The business went that way because I had a skill set, and it started to be recognized. And this is the other thing about mind your own business that I think was important for me, is the integrity I had, that I never said anything about anything. I did not let on that we had any contact other. I'm just pausing because my internet connection went again. So I was just pausing, but I never said anything. So I had integrity in not blagging about where I met them. And I think we see that often, where sometimes it becomes about ego. I need to show everybody by putting you down, saying that we've had training together. There's an integrity, and this is minding your own business by looking after other people's that I was talking about. And I think there's a lot of value in you as a person and how you conduct yourself. And that's why I get very disappointed with the Facebook things. And it's, you know, a lot of people are sensitive to it on here. A lot of people are sensitive to where we attack other people. Off my soapbox. I am coming off my soapbox. Anyone else want to say anything? Question, Terry, thank you.
I got a couple of comments from Bookface. Surin, the sweets man. You know, Surin's not the child catcher from Chitty Chitty, but proper sweets man. I'm happy with teaching German, having my sweet showroom, told you, and making students safe, competent, and courteous drivers. Yes, you know, if that makes you happy, that's absolutely brilliant. And Louise says, I think about how I would like to be treated as a customer and replicate the good things for my customers.
There you go.
Just fair dues.
Surin's a good example of a businessman.
Yeah,
different businesses.
Absolutely.
And able to go in between, pop about. Yeah. More, Terry? Because we've got Teresa as well.
A comment from Steph on the chat. The DVSA might not tell us what to do, but if we are found to be doing lessons for I'm I guess that means for non-key workers, we can be reported to them and struck off. Yes, stroke, no, question mark, question mark.
I'm unsure about that. I'm unsure about the answer to that. I don't know if anyone else has got. I would rather not say anything. I'd rather abstain if I'm not positive. Kev's got some info.
All I know is that there was an ADI NJC webinar on Monday, and there were some rules dropped this week, and they was unsure whether certain police forces would enforce it and some wouldn't, and it's very unclear. So all we know at the moment is the DVSA are still saying no driving lessons. So that's literally that.
But there was the email sent out last week that sounded quite threatening if you were
Yes.
caught and fined for giving driving lessons for non-key workers.
Yeah, it was indented. It was indented in there, and it was very clear to me. Very clear. I wrote an email, or I wrote an article on Facebook with an inappropriate joke in it, and I was, the DVSA let me know they were not happy. I don't blame them. I think they were right, and I made an apology because it was an inappropriate joke. And I still stand by my apology. No qualms about it. So I think they do notice things, and people do let them know what's going on. So good point. Thank you, guys. Good question. And again, it's minding your business, minding your own business, and not judging other people on theirs. Good point. Teresa, were you going to say something?
Yes, please. Terry touched on earlier, said that he tells his ADIs or coaches his ADIs to understand that they are business people first and not sort of just teaching people to drive. They're not employees anymore. And I get that. That's really important. And I'm one of these people who's been in a career base for most of my working life. And so this is very new in, running your own business. Question I've got to the panel, anybody else who wants to comment, would be how many of you actually had business background or have undertaken a business type course, either prior or during your time as an ADI? And basically, what sort of tips, what sort of things would you say are priorities? And I'm not talking touchy-feely stuff like, which is great. It's important, the joy and sort of finding what you enjoy, what you need to do and what you want to do. It's more about the practicalities. It's more about what are the top things that need to be sorted and need to be kept on top of. Does that make sense? Hopefully.
Yeah. Has anyone got any kind of input off the head straight away? Was that you, Kev? Brilliant.
I can. I was postman, so I've had no business background whatsoever. From my experience, I would give everyone that's just starting out, keep on top of your books, because I'm not very good at that sort of thing, as was very clear. But like Sammy said, find something that does. There's something very cheap out there, I'm not going to mention names, but we'll do all your accounting for you in a diary system. Very good. Know what you want to do. From a business point of view, you might find yourself working all the hours that you don't want to work. What wasn't the reason for you becoming a driving instructor in the first place? Find those hours out that you want to work, and surround yourself with people who are like-minded. I'm going to phrase it that way. Other people might have other suggestions, but there you go. I've got loads more, but I'll keep it sweet and short.
Brilliant. Sarah?
I think the thing is to divide your business up into the aspects of your business. There is obviously as teaching people to drive, which is one part of it. But then you've got the accountancy side, you've got the marketing side, you've got the advertising side. And some of those areas you might have a natural ability with, you might be quite happy to do them yourself. But if they're not your thing, there are plenty of people out there that can help you to either learn it for yourself, or if you have no interest in learning it, then can do it for you. for example, like doing your accounts, things like that. Teresa, you said you've got a website that you've done, but you don't have the time to keep it updated and things like that, and you don't get a lot of work from it. And maybe one is actually connected to the other. The fact that you're not putting a lot of work into it might be why you're not, who knows? But you could get somebody who is interested in that, and they could have a look at it, make sure it's optimized correctly, make sure your links are all in there. I don't know if you have like a Facebook business page as well, but again, you know, that's something worth looking at. And if it isn't your kind of thing, if it's not something that interests you, find somebody that it does interest, because it will normally not cost you an awful lot of money to get someone just running that part for you. You know, although we all like to think we can do everything, we don't have to. You know, we don't go out and change the engine in our car if our engine's gone, or change the clutch. I mean, there might be one or two instructors that are mechanical, but most of us aren't. We'd take it to a garage. And look at your business in that light. Look at the different aspects of your business and which ones you want total control of. And yep, I'm really happy doing that. And the areas that you don't want, have a look for an expert.
Brilliant. Love that. Really good. Sound. See?
To help you
No
out,
one's full.
sorry, to help you out with that as well, do a SWOT. I think it was mentioned in the chat or the questions. I'm not sure it came up, but do yourself a SWOT analysis. Recognizing your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, and write down all of those. So they're your main headings. I might put one, if I put one up in the thread later, you get a copy of it. But yeah, just recognize your strengths, your weaknesses, opportunities, and your threats.
Brilliant.
And that give you a clear idea for yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. Brilliant. Thanks, Kev. Steve. Put your hand up.
As Kev just said, I think one of the biggest things is definitely surround yourself with the right people, because you know there are some people out there, especially on the Facebook groups, that will literally suck the enthusiasm out of everything. So I'm quite lucky. I found a lot of these people quite early on in my career that I knew I could look up to, I could chat to, I could ask questions that wouldn't make me feel like an idiot, basically. And I think you really need to find those quite early on.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. And reach out, ask people if they would, because sometimes it's just a couple of minutes chat, and lots of people are willing to give that. Terry, just 1 second, because another thing, Teresa, and anyone else out there, when we think about, because I'm thinking about business, and one of the things that often comes up is, well, how much are you charging? And how much are you charging? And everyone does their value and what they get for their time. And they, you know, I know schools, and they ring round everyone else and pretend to be pupils to ask what the deals are, find out, and then everyone places their finances around what everyone else is doing. Look at your own value. Look at how much you want to work. I don't do the maths of this, Teresa, so you and me are in this together, but I'm changing how I think of that now. And I used to, I'm dreadful for doing mates rates, but I'm so glad that other people do mates rates. Certain one of you there doing mates rates for me right now. But the thing you've got to think about is, do you want to be value for money, and do you work harder when you know you're getting paid well? Because it can be an incentive to actually put your prices up now, or I am charging more, therefore I've got to do it. Could it be that incentive to make sure you're giving 100% value for money? I don't know, but it does make a difference. Terry.
Comments. I've got to reply to yours as well, Fiona, but I'll do that after, if that's all right. Comment from Vic on Facebook. Remember to save for a rainy day, because you never know when some highly contagious disease might come along and shut your business down for 4. No, I'm joking. Vic says, remember to save for a rainy day, and from the off, my business advice is to speculate to accumulate. You can't grow a business without spending money, and maintain your integrity and honesty. From Vic. Great advice. Again, great advice from Kevin and Sarah. Fantastic. I didn't know what to do, Teresa, about business, so I learned. I went and found out how to run a business, and now ADIs, PDIs come to me for advice, which, 10 years ago, I'm thinking that's never going to happen. So go out and learn, like Sarah said. Go out and find out how to do it. Answering Fiona, I've forgotten what you said. I knew I should have answered that first. What were you talking about?
Money, business, hours, money per hour.
Money. And this going back to what I said earlier about, we think we're driving instructors or we're not businesses. Don't feel embarrassed about putting your prices up. You see all the time, I don't feel like it's not fair on our customers. This is where the psyche comes in. Lawyers don't think twice about putting the price up. Shoe shop doesn't think twice about putting up the price of a pair of shoes. You are running a business. Don't feel guilty about what you charge.
Sorry, my internet connection is really unstable, so bear with me. I'm doing my best, but sometimes you're breaking up individually. But it's true. If you want, I can't say brands, but there are very cheap brands of stores that are opening up everywhere, and yet still people go and buy brand name T-shirts as opposed to non-branded kind of T-shirts. But sometimes you get what you pay for, but sometimes you get what you pay because we make sure we're adding that value, and it's knowing what you're good at and trusting yourself. Nice. Anyone else?
Keith,
Teresa.
Keith and
then Keith.
That is one thing I've learned, and I got some advice when I was doing Train the Trainer from somebody who might want the credit, but I won't give it to her just yet. She gave me a bit of advice. She asked me how much I charged per lesson because we were talking about it, and I basically turned around and told her, and she said, well, why that figure? And I basically explained to her that my trainer had told me not to outprice myself, and this was sort of like the ceiling within our area, and etc., etc. And so I'd set myself lower than that when I started out as a PDI, and then I increased it slightly when I passed. But she said, well, why have you stuck there now? Put them up. Don't be frightened of it. Email all your clients. You won't lose people. She says, I've done it. And she's charging far higher than me. But it was based on what Terry said about, your value, what you are worth. I feel I can justify my worth, and I'm still managing just to fill my diary, because people do get put off by price, but then eventually they might come back to you because they realize that your reputation and your credibility is worth more. So I'm not frightened of that side of things, and I thank that person for giving me that advice, because although I've given a bit of a hook over the last few weeks, and I've invited 5 newbies to have an extreme discount, as in my PDI discount, block booking, it's worked, and I've got those 5 people, and that'll be enough to boost me when I start up again. So that's worked. But I thank that person. She did me a good job. She did me a good service there. It's a trust, isn't it? Thank you.
Yeah, well done, certain person who isn't there at the moment but is there. I wonder who that could be. Keith.
Not me.
Keith, go for your bit.
I just agree with Teresa and Terry. There are so many people that, I know when I first started years ago, and even now, they put the price down so much, so low, but they've got to work 3 times as much as people who are keeping the price at a nice level. Plus, it's like anything, a new carpet, you pay for what you get. You're paying the low rate. They've got to do more lessons, and they're actually, they're knackered doing so many lessons per day. They're not thinking about you at the end of the day. So I think keeping the price at a reasonable rate is good, because that way you can concentrate on each individual.
Reasonable? Let's change that word for a start. Not a reasonable rate. Not a reasonable rate, Keith. Terry.
I was looking at the rate you should charge, sorry. Comment from Bookface. From Michael, my mate Mike. It's not too difficult. You need to win the crowd. Your smile is your logo, your personality is your business card, and how you leave others feeling after an experience with you becomes your trademark. Love that.
Nice. I think Sammy might like that. She's trying desperately to do her heart shape. She really look like it. Yeah, brilliant. Thanks, Terry, and thanks, Michael. Sarah.
Just a quick one on that particular comment, you know, saying that your smile wins the crowd, etc., etc. A lot of driving instructors have built a successful single business because they have great personality. It doesn't mean that they're very good at what they do. They don't have to be a good driving instructor if they've got a great personality, because people will recommend them. People will say, oh, my instructor is so much fun. Oh, we just always have a laugh. We do anything we fancy. And it doesn't really matter how long it's going to take me to learn to drive because I'm having so much fun. I'm going to tell all my mates he's really cool. Yeah. So personality gets you so far, but it's not looking at the whole of your business. And what you should be looking at is, could you replicate your business for somebody else? If, for example, I know some of you are franchisers and have other instructors representing your school out there on the road, what is it about your sole trader that you would want other people to be able to replicate? Is it the standard of your tuition? Is it the quality of the product? Is it the quality of the vehicle? Is it, you know, what is it? Look at the whole picture rather than just relying on that. Personality will get me everywhere. If I smile, everyone will love me, and then they'll become flocking in for lessons. And why isn't that working for my franchisee who maybe hasn't got that personality? Oh, well, it must be because they're rubbish. It's not just about personality. It's having a good business product. That was all. That was my rant, Terry.
Yeah, I think it's a good rant. I'm sure there are plenty of people out there that have a few people franchised to them. So there are driving schools out there, and they're already having other ADIs delivering training on their behalf. And I think that's important. How do you motivate your franchisees? Because it is your business. So what do you do to motivate them? Because if someone's always saying, I need more pupils, I need more pupils, you know how the pupils are finding their training. Got to take a look at it. Really got to take a look at it. So business is, yes, we've been talking today about us as individuals, but how do you manage your business if you do have a small, medium or large driving school? Thanks, Terry.
Just another mini rant. You know, business advice should be part of your training. Trainers should be giving business advice. They shouldn't just be training you to be a driving instructor. So if you're PDI, you want to be a driving instructor, find a trainer who will give you business advice and help you along the way, and not just say, well done, see you later after you pass your part 3. Like a lot do. Yeah. Sorry. I'm sure there are loads out there that do that, but there's many, many, many that don't. Sorry, rant over again. I couldn't let Sarah have a rant equal amount of rants as me. Had to have one more.
Brilliant. Thanks, Kev. Thanks, Terry.
I'm going to not go a rant because there's been too many of them. So I'm going to sort of like put you in a situation where it normally happens. I see it quite a lot on Facebook and that. So imagine that there was us 12 here and there was one person looking for driving lessons. How would they choose that person? So if you're only, oh yeah, I'm brilliant, oh yeah, I'm just so good, and we'll do this, and you'll pass first time, and Teresa would say this, and Steve would say that. My bit of advice is, why do you do what you do? And if you can answer that, find out what it actually is, and then repeat it back to yourself. Because I don't just give driving lessons without telling you what to do, but it's an experience. You'll learn how to drive safely. You'll do this, you'll do that. I could go on forever, and that's why people come to me. And it's the same for any business. If you look at McDonald's, why do people go to McDonald's? It's because of what they do. And if you find out what you do and why you do it, that would be fantastic for you.
I totally agree. Totally agree. Nice. I think that's a thing. I wonder if we should kind of think about wrapping it up on that note. Think about if you've got anything else. In the meantime, I'm going to get Kev to think about his summary. Terry, go first then, and we'll give Kev the heads up.
Just to finish on a comment from Sammy, our very own Sammy. A work in progress is always a great attitude to have, because we should never be done. Always room for growth.
Absolutely true. Spot on. Always room for growth, and it's where to start, and it's just looking at starting point. Brilliant. And I think if you summarize really well, Kev, we'll all be perfect. Teresa will have a plan. Should be just knowing what she's doing. I might have my plan. That would be good. Kev.
I thought you had a plan. Won't go there. I'm sure you had a plan. So why don't you mind your own business? How do you rate your own business? Excited? Some people find that time management comes into their problems. There's not enough time to do things they want to do, or they enjoy doing something else rather than doing something else that needs time. We mentioned the could, the should, the need, the want to do more, but we don't do that. We normally tend to do other stuff. Progress, you need goals. People mentioned, and it's a work in progress. And as Sammy said in the notes, you're never done. It's always going to be moving forward, hopefully. Or if not, sideways. Who knows? Don't be vague in what you do. There was a lot of vagueness coming out. Try not to be too vague. Success grows from success. What are you enjoying? What do you enjoy about your job? Have a positive mindset. I think that came from Sarah. Procrastination. I think we all suffer from it, but how do we get away from it? It's quite an interesting thought for people. How do you get away from procrastinating? Terry mentioned that you are a business person. You work for you. You know, you're not doing it for the love. That'd be great. But you might do, but it's not going to get you far as a business. You are a business. You are running a business. And motivation, I wrote down, because again, some people mentioned about motivation, having the motivation to do whatever they do. Sarah mentioned divide your business up into the separate parts, and get help from those parts if you need it. So if you're a bit like me, and when it comes to keeping books, get help for that, because otherwise you're just gonna not do it, and then it gets to the deadline when you've got to put those books in, and it's panic station. So get help with things that you need help with. We mentioned the SWOT analysis. Again, find out what your strengths, weaknesses, threats and opportunities are, not in that order. And look at the big picture. A smile will get you so far, but it might not work for everybody. So just be there really. And my summary for it, just for something, again, for everyone to think about really, why do you do what you do? And it's a short couple of sentences that make you unique, and that will be your selling point.
Yeah, totally agree. Nice one. I think we'll draw it to a close there. Thank you, attendees. Thank you, panelists. I really like how it makes me think. I really like what these give me. And I really hope they give something to you guys out there as well. Thank you guys for watching on Facebook. There will be another Why Don't You on Tuesday, the 30th of June at 11 a.m. Same time. We have not chosen a topic yet. So I'll be getting together with the crew, with Sammy, with Kev, with Terry, and with Neil. We'll be discussing what is the next Why Don't You subject. If you want to put it in the thread, what you think we could or should discuss, that would be useful, because we can have a think about whether we would or should. But thank you guys for watching. The next one, Why Don't You 23, will be on the Tuesday, the 30th of June. There won't be one on this Friday. There will not be one on Friday. Thank you guys live on Facebook. Thank you guys here. I'm going to switch off Facebook Live. Thank you.